The government of Guam's tax refund liability is one of the lowest in a long time, but in documents filed with the District Court of Guam, Assistant Attorney General Kenneth Orcutt objects to the plaintiff's proposed permanent injunction that seeks that tax refunds be paid within 6 months of their filing date because under its current financial situation, GovGuam is going to require more time.
What we're proposing is to pay within within a year time from the due date or the date return actually filed or whichever is later.
According to Revenue Tax Director John Camacho, the 1-year time period would expire at the end of calendar year 2014, in which thereafter GovGuam would comply with payments set forth in the Internal Revenue Code. The IRC doesn't set a deadline in which refunds must be paid, but instead requires Revenue Tax to pay taxpayer interest if the refund isn't made within 45 days after the claim is made. In the filing is noted that the permanent injunction also fails to address Guam's obligation to pay $17 million owed for past due tax refunds and the $104.8 million projected shortfall for fiscal year 2014.
It doesn't make sense for the court to issue an injunction to mandate us to pay, knowing that we cannot do that. We cannot meet that. The government cannot really function if we're forced to pay it within 6 months.
DOA Director Benita Manglonia, meanwhile, noted in her declaration that under GovGuam's cash flow projections, Guam uses a, quote, pay-as-you-go method as opposed to setting aside funds to pay the following year's tax refunds. And based on GovGuam's cash flow, if Guam sets aside and pays tax refunds as proposed by the plaintiffs, Guam would have an average monthly cash shortfall of $10.2 million for fiscal year 2013 and $8.6 million for the following fiscal year. Camacho, however, is hoping GovGuam's requests are granted, saying GovGuam has exceeded its borrowing capacity and simply won't be able to comply.
If it comes to the point where we're in contempt with the order and we can't pay it within the 6 months in the long run, I think that's when maybe a receivership might come in.
In addition to a possible receivership, if the government fails to comply with the proposed injunction, the plaintiffs also seek that government funds be sequestered and contempt proceedings be initiated. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Ken Quintaniza.